How you doing, Charles? I had some issues with my site. My provider for my site is GoDaddy, and they updated something without me knowing about it, so it screwed everything up. I'm getting it repaired. But we're going to go with the lesson. There's 3 people in here, and there's only you and I talking. Can you hear me okay? Charles? Okay, good. Well, let's see who's coming. You have any questions before we start? You know, I have other people probably going to come over here and give me a bunch of shit. It don't matter. You have any questions on anything, Charles? And yeah, also, where are you from, Charles? Florida. You have any questions? Originally from Jersey, huh? Whereabouts in Jersey? Because I'm in Somerville. I'm originally from Newark, New Jersey. Okay, let's start. I have to apologize to everybody when they get here. I'm not really a Latin player per se, but tonight what we're going to do, we're going to work from the stick control book and the syncopation book. Now, do you know how to play a samba at all, Charles? Samba. Okay? You might know, if you're from Middletown, Charlie Tedesco. You know him? He was in a band for 20 years called New York Force. You know Charlie Tedesco? He is a former student. He moved to Arizona now. He's retired. Good drummer. I took him since he was 10 years old. Okay, Alan Dawson. One of my most favorite drummers and instructors. At one particular time, he was the head of the percussion department at Berklee School of Music. Now they call it Berklee College of Music. I don't know why. But it don't matter. And I have a friend of mine who's there as a percussion instructor, Mark Walker, and Mark is going to be doing a show coming up in the studio here. Anyway, Alan Dawson. Joey Novello is a hell of a drummer, man. Crazy man. Good drummer. I met him one time by accident at Sam Ash Music Store in Edison. But, you know, I had a few friends who studied with him, and they told me the guy's a maniac. But, yes, he's a great drummer. Okay. Alan Dawson. Now, when I play a samba, I think of the samba in 2 different ways. Either in quarter notes and 8th notes, or 8th notes and 16ths. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. I'm going to stay here with that. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. What I'm going to do with that is reference off the stick control book. Okay? And I'm going to play underneath all of the stuff that I'm going to do with my left hand. I'm going to play this constantly. And here's the pattern that I'm going to use. I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. It makes what I'm going to do tonight a lot easier to understand. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Now, that's the three limbs: my ride cymbal, my bass drum, and my hi-hat. I'm thinking now, and we're going to take a lot of different patterns with the left hand, against that pattern. So the first left-handed pattern that we're going to do is we're going to reference off a stick control book. Now you see stick control book, you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. What we're going to do is eliminate this time all the rights. So what happens now, the left-hand part will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what we're going to do now, we're going to play this constant. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And we're going to play the left-hand part from the stick control book. Into the snare drum, but you can play that pattern all over the drum set. I don't particularly like that one, but it's a good pattern to develop independence. 1, 1. Second guy. All the lesser falling on 1, 2, 3, 4. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Line 1 and line 2. 1, 2, line 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You understand that, Charles? Somebody else is here. Who else should be in here? Charlie, do you understand that? Line 1 and line 2? Okay. Now, go to line 3. You can do all 72 lines. Line 3. Left hand's on 2 and 4 and 1, 2. Line 4, so 1 hand and 3 hands. Line 5. Go. 3. Hey Mike, hey Paul. Sorry about the mix-up. My site was down again, and the reason why it was down was because they have updates. That's now a law for anybody who has websites with streaming, and every time they have an update, it screws my site up. Hi Susan, sorry about everything. So I could not contact anybody, so I figured everybody would come here as opposed to my site. So my site, I just called my tech, he's working on it, it'll be up and running Wednesday. Okay? I hope. If not, we always have YouTube. My, there's 10 people watching, mercy. Everybody wants to play the Samba. Michael. Sorry about the confusion. Alright, let me go back now. See, that's why, Charlie, I wanted to wait a little bit. We're going to be working on the Samba a little bit tonight, and we're going to use the stick control book and the syncopation book as a reference. I'm going to lock everybody into 4 limbs. The ride cymbal, the bass drum, the snare drum, and the hi-hat. Now, the way I'm going to think about this, and there's 2 ways you can think about it. This is the basic samba pattern. You can think of it in quarter notes and eighth notes, or eighth notes and 16th notes. For what I'm demonstrating tonight, quarter notes and eighth notes is the ticket. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to establish my 3 voices as being consistent. My right hand, my right foot, and my left foot. Now, this is more in the idiom of Alan Dawson's method of teaching. Now, for those who don't know who Alan Dawson is, or was, because he passed away, he was the drummer with Brubeck after Joe Morello left. And besides that, he was the head of the percussion department at Berklee School of Music. Now it's called Berklee College of Music. Why, I have no idea, but it's the same school. Anyway, he taught, well, Tony Williams and many, many others, like Vinnie Colaiuta and Dave Weckl, all those great guys. Anyway, we're going to take the right hand and we're going to think of quarter notes and eighth notes. I'm going to play 1, 2, I'm sorry, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. I'm going to slow that down. Now watch my levels. It's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Now making the 1, 2, 3 consistent. My bass drum is going to play 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2. My hi-hat's going to be on 2 and 4. That's going to be consistent. I'll slow that down if need be, but that's a pretty nice tempo to teach from. 1, that right there. Now the left hand. The right hand, right foot, and hi-hat are consistent. What's going to move around is the left hand. So, what do we do with the left hand? We have 72 different lines of state control book to develop strength and to develop independence against that pattern. Now, what I do with the samba pattern, I reference off the first line, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I eliminate all the rights. So that's going to give me 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the pattern, right hand, bass drum, and hi-hat, and play the left hand part. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. That's the first one. Now I'm containing myself to 4 voices. You can be colorful and move the left hand around, okay, on the different voices, depending on what you want and what kind of sound. Is Paul in here? Paul. Hey, Paul, what's up, man? How you doing, Ross? Okay, so now that takes care of line 1. It reverses itself. Instead of playing just the ands, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to play the counts of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 against the pattern. So far, where I'm getting the left-hand part, I'll do line 1 twice and go directly into line 2 and then back to line 1. Nice and easy. And the left-hand part is going to be on 2 and 4 and. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, like I said, I'm just not going to be colorful. I'm just going to play the left-hand part on the snare. Line 3. 1. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Line 3, it shifts over now the left hand to 1 and 3 and. Now line 5 is where it starts to get a little bit colorful. Now I'm going to change, instead of using those bamboo sticks or hot rod nuts or whatever you call them, I'm going to use my sticks. What I need to know from everybody is if this ride cymbal is dominating what I'm saying or playing. A lot of overtones. Now, is the ride cymbal dominating the sound? I'll go back to the hot rods. Is it distorting the sound? Okay, not bad. It has to, yes, it has so much character. All right, let me go back and do the hot rods. I have the overheads working, so the overhead should take that. Why it does that, I don't know. And I need to all right, the hot rods are better. Okay, now line 5. All right, if you look at line 5, it's the paradiddle. Stick it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to eliminate now the right. So that gives me 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 2 and 3 and 4. Against this. But before you can move it around, you're going to need this. Now you have 72 lines to do that with. And now I'm still thinking of it as 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Now I can take it to another platform. Instead of making it 1, 2, and 3, I can make 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. It's a colorful kind of rhythm. I was in Brazil one time, and man, those people just know how to play that samba. Unbelievable. But they're usually playing it with 5 or 6 different drummers with different instruments. And man, do they? Better for me. Okay, good. Okay. Do we have any questions on any samba pattern that I just did? It's a basic samba pattern. I was asked to go over some vamping patterns. And you can vamp. I'm going to use the sticks now. I'm not going to use the ride cymbal. And it's good for your endurance and your feel. And we're going to stay with the samba foot pattern, but we're going to vamp. The 4 measures, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. Well, what I normally do is play the bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, and 7 of stick control book, Charles. I take all this. Is that your question? Yes? No? The question is page 1. There's no, well, page 1 is you have, it's an introduction or a forward. All right. Yeah, the stick control book, that's what we've been working with. Taking all less, line 1. Remember? 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Against the symbol pattern. Did you miss it, Charlie? That's where I was getting my left-hand patterns from, the stick control book. Do you understand it? You want me to go over it again? Charles? You sure? It's not a problem. Page 4. Page 5, 6, and 7. That's what we're working with. I look at page 5. Line 1 is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm referencing off that page to get my left-hand part. So I look at line 1 and I say, okay, I'm going to eliminate all the rights. If I eliminate all the rights, it's giving me 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I go to line 2. And line 2 is telling me, okay, I look at it visually, and it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I eliminate the rights on line 2 and just gives me the left hand is going to be on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I'm doing, and this is constant, I'm playing the right hand, right foot, and left foot the same. 1, 2, and 3. And I go to line 1, they tell me to play all my left hand on the end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Understand that so far? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Charles, Susan? Do you understand that? If not, I'll do it again. That's page 5. Line 1 and line 2. Eliminating all the rights. And that's giving me my left-hand part. Michael, you understand it, Charles? Susan, do you understand it? Need some feedback, guys. You understand? Okay, good. Everybody has no, everybody understands. Good. Okay. Any questions other than what we just did on the stick control, on the samba? It's the basic samba. You should want to stay there at 1, 2, and 3, 4, and develop that left hand independence against the pattern. There's some very interesting things. But contain yourself to the 4 voices. The ride cymbal, the bass drum, the snare drum, and the hi-hat. Sure you can, Susan. Look, there's not the samba pattern there. You're referencing from the line. The line is telling you 1, it's written, you're visually saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's what you see. That's what it's telling you to do. Now we're going to reference off of that line. And when I reference from that line playing the samba, I eliminate the rights. So line 1, I'm going to do line 1 just playing the lefts. So that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's where I'm getting my left-hand part against this. This is constant. you see it now? You're not going to see what I just played. You're referencing off the line. You're eliminating the rights. I mean, okay, you eliminate the rights, so you're playing all lefts. Line 1, I look at it and I say, okay, I'm going to play line 1, but I'm going to eliminate all the rights. So if I do that, what's R saying? Okay, well that's the way you got to think of it. It's not visual that you see the samba pattern. It's you're looking at line 1 and it's telling you, okay, man, play all the lefts on the ands. It's a simple pattern. You look at line 5. Let's go to line 5, Susan. And line 5 is the paradiddle sticking. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Now, I'm not going to, when I'm playing that, I'm not thinking right, left, right, left, left. I'm following the sticking, but I'm counting it in 8th notes counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 tells me it's a right. 1 and is a left. And 2 and is a right. 2 and 3 and 4. So now I look at the line. I say, okay, I'm going to play the left hand only on line 5. So that's going to give me 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Against this. 1. This is constant. That's my time. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Now play the left hand part on line 5. We all understand that, yes? No? We understand it? Line 13. You have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, Paul, good. Now we look at the line and we eliminate the rights. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Susan, are you aware of counting systems in 4/4? Yes, no? See, a lot of people out there going right, left, kick, right, left, kick, right, left, kick, and they don't put it into some sort of formation. The formation that we're using for this particular samba pattern is 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and when I count that, I like to count staccato. Staccato is short sounding. It puts a little bit of a pinch and a little bit of a groove into my feel. 1 and 2 and. Doesn't make me stiff, but it puts a little bit of a pinch in here. Example. You know, if you count 1, 2 and 3, it's like right that. So I go 1, 2 and 3. Right. Okay? Now, I have a ton of different ways to do the stick control book, and like I keep telling everybody, I'm in the process of having a copy written. I got about 1,000 different ways of writing the stick control book, and the title of the book would be Beyond Control. So I've been working on it for years now, and it's soon to be put together and released. Okay, now, that takes care of the samba. I'm not going to do too much more to samba. It takes a little bit of practice to really get it going on. What I want to do, in addition to the samba, is another reference from the stick control book. This has to do with 4-way coordination. So am I, Susan. Well, I mean, if you're up here, the question is, does the bass drum technique change? When I'm playing this, I'm flat-footed. I don't have a special technique. When I play it a little faster, Still flat-footed, but my beater is closer to the head. You know, I don't play, sometimes I play with the heel up, sometimes I don't. It depends on the power that I want and the speed that I'm doing. It's actually faster to get speed when my heel is up. But I like to be relaxed. Like I was saying, I want to do the four-way coordination thing, and it's a matter of reference. And Susan, you'll get to understand where I'm coming from, because my primary source of teaching is the stick control book. And everything, no matter what you play, comes from those 3 pages. And if you doubt it and you want to ask me a question, I can explain and show you where it comes from. I'm not saying anybody doubts it. Everybody should know. The whole rhythmic process is built off of those page 5, 6, and 7. Simple. So we're going to go to another reference. And this is a good one. It's a drum set application for a stick control book. Okay? We have four-way coordination, and that's what we're going to do right now. We have cross, we have harmonic coordination, and cross coordination. First, we're going to start with just four-way coordination. I look at line 1, and you need to be counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Now, whenever I come to 1 and 3 and 3 and, I'm going to make it my top. My top, and I'm locked in again with voices, my top is going to be right hand on the right cymbal, left hand on the snare. When I come to 2 and 4 and, that's the bottom. When I hear right, it's going to be bass drum and then hi-hat. So with that being said, let me just do 1 and 3 and. All right, it's the top. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to do the bottom. Remember, on the bottom, on 2 and 4 in line 1 comes right, left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Play a little up tempo all together. A little slower. 1 and 2 and. Okay? Now, I always get in trouble when I make this next statement, but this is how I see it. There's an iconic drum book in the drum community called Four-Way Coordination, written by Elliot Fine and Marvin Dogman, who are outrageously great drummers and great educators. And I always say this, and boy, do I get in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. What four-way coordination is, in my opinion, is stick control book on steroids. Here we go. Whoever's listening, I'm going to get some badass feedback. But hey, it's just my opinion. So line 1, with that reference. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You'll understand that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, we go to line 2. It's the reverse. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now you can refer to that as a four-way coordination or a linear pattern. Same thing. We go to line number, let's skip 3 and 4 because they're just monotonous. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Line 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That'd be 1, sorry. Line 3 would be. It's kind of monotonous with that one. Well, now, here's where something it makes it really pretty. Line 5. Now what happens, Charles, when if you agree, that's fine. See, what happens when I make a statement like that, people say, I'm not discrediting at all the book. It's a great book. It's a difficult book. But my approach to the book's a lot different. And my statement I just said, I'll hold to that one. Okay? But people say, well, you shouldn't say things like you got an attitude. I don't have no attitude. It's how I see it. It's a statement. If somebody could disagree, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, you're not going to change the way I see it. Okay, line 5, 4-way coordination. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, if you have the 4-way coordination book, you'll find that someplace in there. Susan, do you understand that? Paul, do you understand that? Ross, do you understand it? Everybody understands it? Y for yes, N for no, or questions? You understand it totally? Okay, good. Okay, good. Michael, everybody, all right. We're hitting grand slammers. Sort of. Okay. Let's go to Paul. Sort of. All right, let me re-explain it. Maybe I did it too fast. I don't want to leave anybody behind here and go further with this. All right, let me reiterate the whole thing again. I look at stick control book and I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You got 1 and 2. Which one didn't you get? Line 5? Paul? I'm making throughout the book 1 and, the page rather, on the counts of 1 and is the top. Okay. 2 and 4 and are the bottom. So I'm going to play line 5 for you, okay, very slow. However, I'm going to eliminate 2 and 4 and. I'm just going to play 1 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm going to put now 2 and 4 and. 1 and 2. Now that's the 4-way coordination. Okay. Now we're going to go harmonically. I'm not going to do all 72 page lines. We're going to go harmonically. Harmonically means, and I don't want to get into any kind of scientific definition of what harmony is, because all rhythm is in harmony. Okay? We're talking about voices being in harmony, or limbs being in harmony. So when I play my right hand, I'm going to play my bass drum. So I'm going to have 1. Every time I play my left hand, I'm going to play my hi-hat. So I do line 1 now. 1 and 2 and. Bass drum, see it? Line 2. 1 and 2 and 3. Do it slower. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 3. Any questions to that point, people? Okay, I can move it around. Sounds entirely different now if I utilize a different voice. cross harmonic. Whenever I play my right hand, my bass drum plays. Whenever I play my snare drum with the left hand, my hi-hat plays. Now here comes the one that's not tricky, but you need a little bit more focus. Every time I'm gonna do a cross harmonic. Cross harmonic meaning when my right hand hits, my left foot hits. When my left hand hits, my bass drum hits. So I'll do line one, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little up tempo. Ooh. Line 3. Cross harmonic. Want me to slow it down? Or we understand this? Line 5. Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3. Sorry. It's getting late. Any questions? I'm going to have to wrap it up. It's like 9:30. And I do apologize about the website. I was totally unaware of that. And I had to contact the company GoDaddy and see what's going on legally with all these updates. Because every time an update comes up, it costs me money to have the web guy fix it. No good lesson. No good lesson. All right. Comma. Charles. We will be back Wednesday on my site. Wednesday afternoon, though, we will be doing a YouTube lesson, and it's going to be one surface. I'll come up with a formula or something with either rudiments or the stick control book or something. Yes, Susan, it does. Okay, no questions. If there are no questions, I will be signing off. Now remember, Paul, thank you, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We will say hello to Susan and Paul, and Charles. Susan is from New Jersey and Charles is from Florida. You're welcome, Michael. Okay, I'm going to need to sign off. Everyone have a good night. Oh, isn't that nice, Paul? You're a gentleman. There you go. Okie doke. No questions. Going once. Going twice. It's hot here too. Okay, everybody have a good night. Night, night. Let me get off.